Okay, now we're gonna get into the meat of it. Here we go. All right, look at these cute notebooks they gave us to take notes in. So I was like, yeah, I'm definitely using that. Well, at first I was like, oh, I'll remember everything that they say, and then I was like, oh, no, I know myself. I'm gonna forget everything as soon as I walk away. So they first session was a leadership session. So I was like, yeah, I want to go to that. That's anything to make my team stronger. So. That's you guys. I was talking about my team. So, all right. So the 10 Cornerstone Foundations of Leadership. This was taught by Holly Ennis. She's our new, I think, director of training or some awesome title like that. She's really great, you guys. I'm really excited. She sort of stepped into where Jennifer Harmon used to be, and so she's kind of stepping away from that. And Holly is incredible. So they said you probably know these things because you're already a leader. You might already know these things, but you need to teach your team these things. So they're not going to necessarily know this. And if you want them to be leaders, go ahead and teach them these things. And I want you guys to be leaders, all right? My job is not to be like hovering over you and being like, oh, great team. I'm like, come on, you guys. I want you to come up with me. Like, I'm bringing along other leaders. So that's my job. Here we go. The first one was making a decision. You have to do. The basic thing is there's a decision to be made, and you either have to make a good decision, a bad decision, or no decision. And you don't. The reason most people don't book a party is they just can't make a decision. So you can if you just decide, let's do this. I'm going to make a decision. And if you make a bad one, then you can learn from that. And the next day you can make a good one. Number 2 was confidence. She said, fake it till you make it. Like, honestly, half the time, probably more than half the time, I'll be honest, I am faking it. You guys don't even know. I'm faking it over here, and you think I'm like always on, and sometimes I'm just faking it, and you didn't know. But you know what? I think I'm doing all right. So. So I have the confidence thing pretty down. There's not too much wrong with my self-esteem. So, but I think you knew that already too. All right. Number 3 was vision. You have to just imagine what's possible. Like, some people are scared to dream. They don't want to be disappointed. And so they just don't, they set, I'm setting realistic expectations. And I mean, it's fine to be real, but you let yourself dream a little bit, because you can't really stretch yourself unless you think about, well, what's possible. I mean, think of what's the most unrealistic thing that you would want to happen, though. Like, think beyond what you think is even realistic, and think, well, I could be an elite executive next month. And to me, okay, so for me, that's completely unrealistic. I know I don't have the system set in place for that. But then I think, well, why? And if I think about it, I mean, there are really only a couple of little things holding me back from that. And so then I start to break it down, like, well, I mean, it could. And so if you think about it that way and try to set down, well, why can't it? Why can that not happen to me? And just start breaking it down. Don't just immediately write yourself off. Like, no, that's not possible for me. I can't do that. Don't tell yourself that. Only speak what is true. If it's absolutely impossible, then go ahead and set a more realistic expectation. But only speak what is true. Then 4th was management. Some people have trouble with time management, emotional management. I mean, because we're all ladies, so sometimes that's a little harder at certain times of the month than others. But money management and skill management. All right, so which one of those would you say would be your issue if you had to pick one? Like, oh yeah, I have trouble with time management. For me, it's the time management. I find myself watching cat videos on Facebook and stuff when I really should be, messaging my hostess. Or you ever do that, or it's just me? It's just me. So then identify that and start to work on it. You write it down somewhere, or make somebody hold you accountable for that. And then number 6, image. Okay, if you have a trouble with image, this is how you present yourself to the world. Okay, if you want to be held as an authority in style, in basically the world of style, because we're kind of expanding. You want to present yourself as someone who might know what's current and trendy. So that's not to say that you can't leave the house without all of this. I kind of dressed up a little bit because I was all used to, dressing business, just business. Everybody was giving me a hard time in my room saying I was dressed too formal. I was like, you guys, I never get to dress up. Cut me some slack. I'm a stay-at-home mom, but I'm pretending I'm not for just a couple days. And so, you don't have to dress like a businesswoman, but you should have some sort of style going. I would say, please don't leave your house in your pajamas or like without a bra on or something. Like, please just put a little effort in, and because you always will run into someone who will be open to either the opportunity, the product itself, or maybe you can even book a party. You just never know. So you have to always be ready. And if this is something you're not really sure, I'm pretty sure I present a pretty good image. So that was when I started. Like, I know I've got this one. And all my girls were like, yeah, that's fine, you're good. But they said, if you're not sure, ask somebody. Like, they'll tell you. Ask somebody that you trust and that will be honest with you. Like, hey, do you think there's a way that I could, if you could change one thing about the way I present myself, what would it be? And they say, yeah, you need a haircut. Please get your hair cut, or please don't wear those pants anymore, or something. Then just take their advice. Don't be offended, and try to present a little better image. This could also apply to like making videos for your team or for your parties. Go ahead and you can ask somebody before you start shooting, like, okay, so would you see me as an authority in this area? And will make sure that that's somebody that will be honest with you. Number 7, passion. Do you have a passion for this product? Do you remember why you loved it in the first place? Like, remember that. Try to get that back, because if you do, it'll open things back up to you. You can remember, oh yeah, it's because I hated doing my nails and smudging them 2 seconds later, or I just loved all the designs. Like, I can't get over how many, and if you forget, it's easy to forget. Like, I've been doing this for 18 months now. You sort of get immune to how amazing it is, but remember why you love the product, why you love the compensation plan, because you guys, it's an amazing compensation plan. And Holly comes, the lady teaching this was from a background in several different direct sales companies. So she's like, you guys, really, this is an amazing compensation plan. She's familiar with other compensation plans. So, I was never in any other direct sales company, and so I don't have any frame of reference. So I'm just like, oh, it's good. Oh, good. I'm glad I picked a good one. So then number 8, discipline and hustle. All right. You might think like that's the same thing. Discipline's more like the day-to-day. Like, okay, I'm regimented. I get up, I check my messages. I message people that I do my follow-up. I do, that's more discipline. Hustle's like, okay, I have a deadline. I've got to make something happen. And so it's kind of just it's got a little more energy to it. All right. So you got to have a little of both. You can't just have hustle, or else you don't have it. It's just kind of all over the place. But if you have the discipline and the hustle, that's when things happen. All right. So you have to have a little of both. Creating habits, and then just adding a little more oomph to it when you need to push hard to make a deadline or make a goal. Number 9, skills. The skills with working with people and leadership. All right. So you want to just always be finding inspiration. She said you should always be reading a book. Try to find, she recommended a couple, I didn't write them down, but just find find some good books and just read them, and you'll be amazed at how everything, you'll be able to be like, oh yeah, that relates to Jamberry, and that fits right in with what I needed. So just always be working toward self-improvement and developing new skills. And then number 10, last one, short-term sacrifice, long-term success. She said, get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I kind of loved that and hated it at the same time, because I don't want to be uncomfortable, you know? I like my comfort zone. It's this nice little bubble. And but she was so right, because if you sacrifice just a little bit of your short term, you know, oh, I don't get to watch my program, you know, it's my favorite, but I'm gonna have to just leave it on the DVR and not watch it, and instead I'm gonna have to do, like, buckle down and do all the mundane whatever. And you know, it doesn't sound like fun, but if you really do, you know, make some short-term sacrifices, it can really set you up for some long-term success. So I really try to think of what would make you uncomfortable. Is it making videos? Is it getting out there and talking to strangers more? You know, try to figure out what is that's gonna have some long-term benefits, and you have to get out of your comfort zone a little bit if you're going to make that happen. So, John Maxwell, she was one author she recommended, so I did write that down, and yay, go me. See, like I said, if I don't take notes, it's all just gone. And she said, just work on your weakest link. And then she had this amazing graphic. I don't know if you can see it. Okay. So she said, there's a fall summit here. All right. So you see, this is where you start. All right. This is, if you're getting some immediate success, you're getting somewhere. Then you're right here, you're on the peak, and you start to dip, and you're like, oh no, what's happening? This is the fall summit. You go, ooh, right there. The fall summit. That's not the peak. That's not the top of Mount Everest, all right? There are a bunch of, she used Everest as an example. You don't just climb straight up a hill to Everest. You have to go up and then down a little bit. It adjusts, and that's just the nature of the business that we're in. It's going to have some little dips to it. No one, absolutely no one has just a straight climb to the top. There are going to be seasonal dips. And that's, don't take that personally. It's not your problem. You don't have any control over the market. You just have to be set. This is a recovery period, okay? There it is. And so that's to help you gain the momentum to go up the rest of the way, okay? The next peak is coming. It really is, all right? So please, and this is perfect timing for this message, because it's the end of July. And I'm pretty sure we're all probably about right there right now. It looks like we're headed down. Oh. And if, you know what, if you let it point you down, it can take you right down. Please just see the next peak and start hitting it, all right? And we're all in this together. I'm here with you too. I'm gonna be starting to push for that next one. And I'm all revved up for it because of this conference. I cannot wait for the next huge peak to come. It is, and I want to take you all there with me. So please book those parties and get your customers excited for the new catalog. And I can't even wait to see where we are in September. It's going to be awesome. All right, you guys, I'm going to flip to a new video now. Here we go.